This is an interesting one because the S20 FE is really trying to do it all and trying to make sure you are not left with any feature missing. But is this really the S20 model to get? As a fan edition phone, let's see what the S20 FE has to say for itself. This is my full review of the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. Let's go. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. Now, when it comes to the S20 FE, you do have two variants, the Exynos 990 4G only and the Snapdragon 865 5G. The 4G is coming in at $599 versus $699 for the 5G model. And courtesy and thank you to Vodafone UK for supplying the S20 FE for review, which you'll find a link in the description below for the latest deals on the S20 FE on Vodafone UK. I'm using the 5G Snapdragon 865 variant, rocking the cloud navy color. Now let's work it from the outside, starting in the design and build quality. And I'm going to be the first one to say that if you didn't know the feel of materials being used on a phone, you'd be hard pressed to know that the back of this S20 FE is mainly of a plastic build. This glass-stick hybrid matte finish really feels nice, and yes, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I've said it before, man, if it ain't matte, then I don't want it. Now, the glossy aluminium frame isn't favored, but it doesn't really catch as many fingerprints as I thought it would. The power button is placed perfectly, but the volume rocker for me is slightly too high and is placed on the wrong side of the device frame. The more boxy design of how it's built always reminds me actually of how a Note series device is built and designed. And yes, the slight curve at the back makes it more comfortable and the feel of it holding in the hand. So thank goodness they're also using a flat display. Now, the borders on the display frame are a bit on the thick side, and the silver ring in the hole punch selfie didn't really bother me as much as I thought it would, although it does also rock slightly on the table. The camera bump is minimal and clean. You do also have dual stereo speakers, but also one of the things that's nice about it, that the sound is good. But my favorite part, it does support dual nano SIM, but it does also have a hybrid SIM slot for a micro SD card for storage expansion. Overall, I will definitely say, look, the design is very understated, it's clean, but what's really nice is with the many colors it comes in with the gradient matte finish, it definitely helps for much more, you know, very exciting but clean and understated design with the options of the S20 FE. Now, as I mentioned before, the flat display design, and you already know that's a first win for me, as the form meets the functional benefits of a flat display. And what you're looking at is a 6.5-inch dynamic AMOLED display with a full high definition resolution and 120 Hz refresh rate display. Now, when it comes to the display, it does seem to be very, very natural, more on the neutral side, even in the vivid mode to my eyes. That's just me personally. Now, definitely the 120 Hz panel really sells well. The brightness on the panel is great, especially with how it manages auto brightness adjustments. There's no surprise here, Samsung knows how to make a good display, and yes, I would definitely have liked a quad high definition panel on here, but you know what, again, at least you do have 120 Hz on an AMOLED panel that is bright, so that's a great win. Now, one thing I would say is that the optical in-display fingerprint scanner is accurate and consistent, but I don't know, man, it just doesn't feel as fast to unlock as some of the others that I've used before. And also the haptic feedback is kind of uninspiring. Look, that's not to say that it's got bad haptics, you know, like a cheap budget phone or something, but it just doesn't feel as sharp and as premium as some of the phones from Samsung within their flagship range. Now, in terms of the specs and the performance, again, I'm rocking the Snapdragon 865 model. So Exynos 990 haters, leave your comments off this video, please. Now, the S20 FE in the UK comes with 6GB of RAM, 128GB of UFS 3.1 storage, and micro SD card expansion. Now, I would say this, for now at least, I've had no performance issues, as with also paired with the 120 Hz display panel and One UI 2.5, things do seem very smooth, but you know what? I can't say that will be the case in the next few years down the line, because I am low-key worried that there should have at least been 8GB of RAM on here to really give and consider future headroom for performance slowdowns not to happen. Because if Samsung are promising 3 years of software version updates, then it's low-key kind of an amber to red flag for me even though using it now, there seems to be no problem and it's actually all good. Again, I can't speak for the Exynos 990 model because the 5G Snapdragon has been good, which I don't think is going to be a surprise to anyone that's going to be using it or getting this model. Let's move over to the battery. And when it comes to the battery and charging experience, the S20 FE packs a nicely sized 4,500 milliamp hour battery cell, which does well. You know, when it comes to things like daily usage, no issues, even with auto brightness on and 120 hertz running at the same time. It definitely gets a thumbs up here for daily battery life usage. But you know what my biggest issue is? The fact that this phone supports 25-watt charger, but it only comes with the 15-watt charger in the box. I'm at the point right now, for me personally, my lifestyle, my use standards, 15-watt was something that was way back in 2014 with the Note 4. Anything below 20 watts, it just doesn't, to me, class as fast charging. And especially on top of that, when recharging the device goes beyond an hour and 30 minutes, personally, that's just not quick enough. When I did my ultimate charging speed test comparison with the 25-watt and the 15-watt charger, which obviously you can check that in the cards above and the link in the description below, the difference to me, I think, was massive, to the point where I would spend the extra money to get the 25-watt charger, unless, again, if you have one already, personally use that one. I also get, look, people are different. Charging overnight is still the norm, but the standard is improved, and this is the slight sore point with the S20 FE for me. Now, the good thing is it does support 15-watt wireless charging and wireless power share, which came in clutch for charging my Gear Sport smartwatch. So in actual fact, for all the critiques I've given it when it comes to things like the charging speeds, the battery life is good. The overall battery and charging experience covers all grounds, especially when looking at the competition. Now, software wise, this is where it lacks a bit. And this is not because the software is bad. No way. Like, the software is good. One UI probably still holds the crown as one of, if not the most feature packed Android layer on top with any smartphone within the Android space. But what it lacks more is in a sense that it's still running Android 10. And although Samsung have promised 3 years worth of version updates, the time in which you're going to be getting this as an S20 FE user really does come into question. So I don't know, man, if this is something that really matters to you, that might not be the phone for you. And apart from the concerns that I've actually shared here, One UI is robust with features such as Apps Edge, creating app pairs for your most used apps to be able to multitask quickly and fast, and things like DeX support. You can really stretch its legs when you want to get productive with the S20 FE. Now, when it comes to the camera experience, the best way I can describe it to you is that it's a no-nonsense, straightforward camera that gets it done. Yes, there's still some strange limitations like not being able to record 4K 60 frames a second on the ultra wide or the zoom sensor, but man, having the ability to shoot 4K 60 on the selfie camera with stabilization at this price point is crazy to me, and makes the competition in the Android space look weak and actually behind. And there's also no waste of sensors like a macro, a depth or color filter here. Straight 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 3 times optical zoom times 30 digital zoom, 8 megapixel telephoto zoom on here with a 32 megapixel selfie to boot as well. The ultra wide is great and the field of view is on point, but one thing you gotta be aware, sometimes it distorts the images, so be mindful of the situations you use it. And although with that in mind, the ultra wide angle on here is still very useful. The dynamic range is great, and although it still goes for that pre-edited saturated look, I have to say it's quite pleasing and not bad at all. And even though you suffer a bit from a more natural, true to life, color accurate looks to your stills, I enjoyed using this camera and it's definitely an all-round great package. Now, in conclusion, it feels like the S20 FE had a tick box exercise to achieve everything on the spec sheet from hardware to software for the experience. And if you line it up against the competition, I think it's achieved that goal. So yes, with all the lovely colors that the S20 FE finishes and comes in, it should be an easy recommendation for me. But you know what? I deep this and I think about it, I struggle to think if you should be getting this or something else. And when I mean something else, I don't even mean the competition. I basically mean the S20 Plus, because you see, the S20 Plus is a full flagship from Samsung. Although I know what's going to be coming, some people are going to say that the S20 Plus in some regions like the UK is plagued with the Exynos 990 chip. You do get the full flagship experience from Samsung with using materials such as Corning Gorilla Glass 6 instead of 3, a quad high definition plus option for a sharper display experience out of the box, and also 25-watt charging in the box straight up. When you look at the used and brand new prices from some places like eBay being the same as the S20 FE or even cheaper, you might want to look that way. And I guess fans should be happy with the S20 FE if the deal and the price is right. You'll be happy with the S20 FE, no doubt. That is it for me. That's my review of the S20 FE. Let me know in the comment section below. Did you pick up the S20 FE? Are you considering it? How does it hold up against the competition? That's it for me, man. Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.